Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Fred Smilin, and today we'll be continuing on with Hades.
Ready, Exegriff?
We are now, yeah, going for the gun. We're going to shoot stuff. That is the main plan today. And I probably should start, like, picking up some of these other boons and things to actually, like, use them as such. Don't really know, because, like, upgrading them could be really useful. But then, like, I've kind of upgraded the ones that I already really want. And, like, in some cases, like, this is probably the next one I would want to do for this run. But I want, like, really good boons and stuff. And most of the time, like, having Zeus to start off with is pretty good. So, we have done everything on Heat 1. And that being the case, let's do Heat. Or Heat 0. Let's do Heat 1. Ooh, weapon upgrade straight away. Special attack. First time your special moves slower. Let's take Hazard Bomb, shall we? Like, loads of massive damage, wider area, and it's gonna blow everything up, including me. Sounds like a great time. Oop. But yeah, I mean, chilling, got work, got a lot of family stuff got planned for later this week, so I will try to make sure that I've got like a backlog of videos, but I know myself and I know how lazy I end up getting and what I end up forgetting to do or uploading something, so I'm despicable, really.
That's a lot of coin.
Oh. Kind of nice though that this just like one-shots everything I need it to. Like getting like a weapon upgrade like this really early is quite good. But yeah, I mean, chilling.
Want to fight?
I had some time to download a game, which was quite interesting. Downloaded Sandland. I was playing that in a bit of my free time on my Xbox, which I will admit I quite enjoy the game, and it's one of those games where how should I say, it surprised me early on. You know, I'm so used to games just giving you kind of like everything at the start, but everything at the start isn't everything at the start, so yeah. It's good, I enjoy it. Like, a bit different from like most like RPGs. I mean, pretty much the same people that made it comes to that same style like Dragon Quest and stuff like that, but not the RPG mechanics or the fighting and stuff like that. Has a level-based system which is a bit kind of vague, should we say? Nah, it's a good hit. But it's fine, you know.
If it isn't the one and only rail of adamant in your possession there. To strike one's enemies from afar is really the only way, I think, and it's about as good a substitute for lightning bolts as you're likely to find.
Of course, Zeus thinks that. Cast, dash, my attack's doing that is pretty good. Like,
lightning.
extra damage on that is always worthwhile. Chaos Skate or Passive Restore. Don't need the Passive Restore, just keep continuing on. But yeah, although I did have a miserable experience the other day with Deliveroo. Not through Deliveroo's fault, but it kind of is their fault as well. So essentially, I ordered a takeaway, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, it'd be kind of nice to just get a takeaway and stuff like that, and got it delivered, and it was part of a meal deal and everything else as well. But here's the kicker.
Crystals were supposed to be pretty. I can't.
So, Deliveroo's policy when it comes to like refunds and stuff like that is they obviously honour it, but they kind of only give 80% of the cost back. Yeah, I know, that's really frustrating already. So if you're missing an item, they won't refund for the whole item, they'll refund for 80% of it.
Little nephew, why I could have sworn you made it to the surface recently, and yet you're all the way back there again. Must be some sort of terrible monstrosity preventing your way out.
Cast knocking them away and dealing damage. No, because I'd rather have like percentage increased on my cast, if on my special if I can. But yeah, so that's kind of frustrating. And if items become part of a meal deal, you only get the optional extra that you've paid of 80% back. So say if I ordered a meal deal and it comes with a dessert and I don't receive the dessert, they won't refund me any money for the dessert or part of the meal deal, which I was really annoyed by. Plus the food, like, just didn't come adequately, and I was really annoyed by that. So I'm a little bit frustrated at the moment. Oh, obviously it's a little bit... Oh, I keep getting hit by all the traps now. So I'm a little bit kind of not in a happy mood over that. Because, you know, it's one of these rooms. Didn't realise it was one of these rooms.
Damnable fools.
Well, that's better.
Gain treasure. Gain that 'cause it does technically heal me. I'll take the heal as well.
Useful.
We get gold from this room. So yeah, I was really disappointed. Like it's partly not just Deliveroo's fault,
Prince,
but
I don't hold grudges. You
yeah.
know that. But as bold along as I have, you move past the petty stuff. So just want you to know, in case you make it out this time, it's been a real pleasure.
Feelings mutual, sir. Someday you'll have to tell me all about how you tricked father. I might learn a thing or two.
Take the gold
Most
here.
Excellent.
Like, I understand like it's part of their policy and everything else as well, but the fact they just don't give like a full refund is kind of annoying. At the same time as well, the fact that kind of like they don't look at meal deals the same way. So like if you are ordering from these sort of like delivery companies in general, I'd advise never taking a meal deal with them, because if the items don't arrive, it's a pain in the backside to try and get the refund for the whole thing.
Right there.
Now let's take one of these boons from her.
Hit me.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to mention it by name, but like I will. I'm that frustrated by it.
Well then.
Son of Hades, I believe I have deduced something I ought to have sooner recognized. Your mother must have been one who called herself Persephone. Her stay within the underworld was brief from my perspective, but impactful nonetheless. You seek her now. Respond.
Oh, Master Chaos. You should know I have located her already. Though where she is, I cannot stay for long. So I'm visiting as often as I can. It's not unlike our visits here. Only somehow even harder to get to where she is.
I see. Then it is good to know that you have been in contact. And I trust that your successive visits shall be worth their while. Not unlike our visits here.
Dash strike dealing more damage, gaining more HP, or just getting more damage on attack. Interesting. I would love to take this because that's like a huge amount, like slothful lunge, and it takes out my movement speed, which is annoying. But it's fine. HP or gold? Let's hit the gold. But yeah, so that kind of got under my skin, shall we say, at the moment, which I am definitely not happy about, because, like, to me, not only is, like, well, it wasn't even that, it was the fact that also, like, the standard meal deal didn't even give you the thing that you wanted it for, so...
Come on, you knuckleheads.
Yeah. It's mainly the restaurant's fault, and like trying to contact the restaurant is like nigh impossible because they just don't seem to have a contact number for it or anything else as well, and like they're not really going to give a care because apparently their reviews are all terrible from just normal interactions to the shop. So yeah,
Kieran's shop.
more just on my rant and my annoyance.
Wisdom guide you, cousin. We cannot effectively communicate with Charon from Olympus, but he is amenable to certain trades and seems unfettered by your father's influence.
My cast deflecting is actually pretty good. Give him a gift.
Glad you like it, mate. Thank you for helping me out with your supply, even if you fleece me with those prices.
This is going to be an interesting fight now, seeing as I'm very slow.
Oh well.
Well, well. You know something, Redblood? In retrospect, I should have known this wasn't going to be a quick job.
They say both gods and mortals are notoriously poor at estimating how long it takes to get anything done.
Normally when I'm on the job, they grovel, then they scream. They shut up eventually, but not you. At least, not yet. Remember this?
But yeah, like it's just one of those frustrating things, you know. Like it's not like anything like drastic. It's just like really poor service, and it doesn't help that like most of my life I've basically just done work within the customer service industry. So like I know when someone gives bad customer service, it's not because they give bad customer service. It's because they probably got like a lazy employee that just doesn't really care about what they're doing, which then is just reflecting poorly on management. But yeah, so now that's kind of like my moan and rant over. You know, annoyances are annoyances. Man, that hit me a lot. The problem with this fight is the fact that I'm so slowed because of there we go. Good one shot. I'm so slow because the boon thing I took for...
She wasn't very nice. This can unlock a hidden aspect of
for
my
chaos. Which, yeah, it's my own fault.
Let's hear it, Father.
I ought to lock you up in Tartarus.
Which one?
I haven't seen much else, but... what would I want? I've seen a good amount of them appear. I think the Demeter ones would be nice, though. Yeah, restoring some health would be nice.
Can wash away my boons.
And we'll keep the Ocean's Bounty. Having stuff like be worth more is really good.
Thank you.
But yeah, like I was annoyed with that. It just really frustrated me. Like you think stuff, oh yeah, I'm just gonna chill out, relax. You think you order a takeaway and everything else, and normally it comes in on time, but for some reason, like you get it and you're like, oh, I'm missing items, and it's not like the first time that it's happened either. Like I've ordered from the same restaurant. The food is nice, but now it's to the point where like I just generally don't care anymore. The lack of customer care has really got to me. So it's actually one of the reasons why I stopped ordering from another delivery company, because their refund policies and stuff like that are just non-existent. And trying to get in contact with anyone to actually help you deal with an issue or a restaurant is, again, nigh impossible. Like, I don't understand why these restaurants even have these contracts with these people, because they take such a massive cut, and all they do is just leave the bad ownership on the restaurant themselves. And I understand it's like for the delivery stuff, but just like hire your own delivery driver and advertise around your local city and stuff. Like, you'd probably make more money. Actually, you won't. I know you won't, but still, it's just frustrating. I'm moving so slow, but my dash strike will be amazing. It literally will just double the damage of my dash strike.
I'm empty.
This is just so good.
Do that.
Literally, like, I pretty much like one-shots most things.
The boon I got from Chaos has a new effect.
Yay.
My daughter to a base-born farm boy, she... Why, little sprout, I wasn't very kind to her, I think. Certainly not once her father passed. It was her mortal blood that made her weak. Born to mortals, taken by mortals, I suspect. So now they pay.
My special inflicts chill, and it gets a 79% damage bonus. Precisely what I wanted. Let's get more gems. I mean, a free room is a free room, but like, I can get more gold to spend and buy everything in the shop again later. The chill effect is going to be nice, although it will never get like really high. But like, just slowing them down and stuff will be pretty useful.
Not now.
But yeah, other than that, like, I took a hit from my own thing. I forget that. Just trying to keep them in the the area. But yeah, other than that, I mean, work's going really well at the moment. Like, we're back to like normal, and I can start fixing other problems like my main job. So that's really good. Side job, I've kind of taken a step back for a little bit, because as part of our team, we're quite useful in just like being kind to people when they've worked a weekend shift. So I will get to catch up with what's going on to help out with stuff again at some point in the near future. But yeah.
Somebody lose a spine out there.
Although I am really kind of getting back into like playing D&D again. Like, I really enjoy it, and mainly because of the fact that I get to do like all sorts of like stupid voices and accents and everything else as well, and you know, it's one of my favorite things while playing D&D, is just being able to do stuff like that and just have fun with like silly voices and accents. But yeah, some of them go down really well. I think I might have mentioned like in other videos as well, like I've got one of my favorite is like a kind of a what would you call them?
I so look forward to our meeting face to face amongst the gods, dear cousin. Olympus shall be merrier and wiser once you're here.
Is exposed, bonus backlash damage, resistant from traps, or my dash can deflect. Dash deflecting is really good, especially against the boss. But yeah, so I probably mentioned in the past video as well that I've got one character. It's kind of like a reoccurring character in every single D&D session I ever do, because I've created him and now he's become like a fan favorite within our group. So whenever he appears, people don't really know what's going on. And he kind of goes by many names most of the time. But essentially, it's a kind of like a rat humanoid. Oh god, the name's eluding me now, and this is terrible because he's one of my favourite characters I ever introduced. Oh god, my mind's gone. But I'm gonna have to look it up as well because it's been ages since I've actually used him in I've actually run a campaign with him in. I mean, he's still there, but like actually used him as such. Let's take both these boons. Why not? Go for a double. I'm now trying to think, so I've got so many character names going through my head, and all I can think about is my gnome rogue that is just destined to
I very much appreciated that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I can only think of my gnome rogue at the moment. It's literally just a prankster.
Can avoid taking sides forever.
Apologies, Athena.
Oh, what was his name? Oh, I mentioned in the video, it's going to really annoy me, and I'm going to be really annoyed. It's going to come to me in a moment, I'm going to shout it out. But, yeah, anyway, essentially, yeah, it's kind of like a mini... kind of almost like a god within, like, our stories. Like, no one really knows what he does, but he literally goes around helping people on a constant basis, and that's pretty much all he does. He helps people, but he doesn't just help people. He helps them irrelevant of their choices, and if it's a good or a bad thing, he just sees someone in need of help and will decide to help them. Which is what kind of makes him like extremely dangerous for the party to come across, because he has no sense of moral value or compass. He just wants to help people, and he feels like he's doing a good thing. So, like, his creation and stuff is kind of shrouded in mystery as far as anyone else goes.
We've better things to do, I think, than fight amongst ourselves over a matter such as this.
Replenish one use. Makes me impervious. I haven't used Defiance yet, so it's no pointless, but the impervious might be good. Maybe. And to the shop. What's his name? Like, I've called him so many different things in different campaigns because I always like changing it up where it becomes like different identities all the way through. But it's like one that really sticks quite well.
Athena, warrior goddess, sprang from Zeus's head. I would expect that no high intellect could come from there.
Please do not mind the Lady Demeter's good-natured sense of humor, Zagreus. She and my father often like to jest with one another, even in the most difficult times.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the regen again. Yeah, why not? Pick it up. A free regen is always useful if I get no death defiances, like 1 HP a second. If I could do is avoid fights, then I can regen quite a lot back up.
Remember me?
But yeah, so that's been yeah, this Hydra's gonna be like taken out pretty quick. But yeah, so anyway, so no one really knows what he is, no one knows where he's come from, and essentially, like, he'll always appear to help out people, and it's basically just due to his creation, which I do have a backstory for, which has never really got released, because no one's figured the stuff out yet. But essentially, like, he feels like he's always doing the right thing, and he's told to always do the right thing, and the right thing is helping people, so he helps everyone, regardless of the situation. But he's also, like, he's like a man that owns a bunch of favours from loads of people, And also as well, like, people are scared to cross him because, you know, he's not evil, but no one crosses him. You know, and it's almost like a sort of like a saint of sorts, or like a deity of some kind that no one ever really wants to mess with. But everyone kind of knows he exists, but only when they kind of need him most they know he exists. And it's just like, yeah, he'll appear out of nowhere, he'll help people out, he'll do all sorts of things, he's helped different parties out in different ways and stuff like that. But he always requires, in some cases, it will always require a favour in return, which is the kind of the kicker which no one really understands. Like, he expects you to return the favour, because he believes that, you know, doing good will return a good deed.
That's all the heads. Beautiful.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try and look through my notes and stuff, because the name eluding me is really frustrating me, and it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot.
Just as we were finishing cleaning up Elysium.
I cannot think of it. And that will do that, because we're getting some of those boons anyway. Nah, nothing there I want. Let's continue.
Good.
But yeah, it does make him like really nice. Like, they'll meet him in a bar where he's working behind the bar to help out the owner and the landlord and stuff, and then, you know, they might see him later doing something else, and then they'll see him later doing something else, and, you know, at one point he was helping the big bad complete his big evil plan. Which was absolutely hilarious for the party to find out. Like, 'cause he's also helping the party along the way as well. Which was interesting. It's like he's literally helped entire kingdoms out as well, and like they all owe him. Like, he seems to always have unlimited funds from money and stuff like that. So he's almost like a really dangerous loan shark. Which is another fun thing that he does. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, that name eluding me is so embarrassing for me right now. I really hope some of my friends aren't watching this video, because they're gonna kill me, be shouting his name at me and be like, why?
Some modifications to the rail are in order.
50% damage to armor. Seeks the nearest foe. Attacks bounce to an additional foe. The Seeking Fire is actually pretty good. Piercing would be nice. But I don't need to deal extra damage to armor because of, yeah. But the extra range would be useful. Take more HP, because more HP means I can heal more up and take more damages, so.
Who's first?
But yeah. So I'm kind of I quite like using him quite a lot in all sorts of other stuff, and it's think about it in the way of like a kind of a good-natured car salesman. You know he's still a car salesman, but he's been extremely nice and understanding, and you just, you know, it's that sort of uneasiness that they just end up creating around themselves, even though that you don't really suspect any evil intentions. Like that's essentially the character I was kind of going for, as well as then like this kind of like do-gooder that always wants to do good but doesn't really understand what good is. You know, like their moral compass just doesn't exist, so they just decide they've got to, you know, be nice to everyone. Take that, so let's move on. But yeah, I mean there's a bunch of characters that I've come up with that I always do like as well.
You bested the champion himself, which means that I have little hope of vanquishing you here.
So then why bother fighting me? You don't have to do this. That Theseus is a highly questionable influence on you.
I see you plain, short one. I too was born of darkness. I chose the path of light. Even in death, it was not too late. Not even for a monster such as I. I trust your deaths will likewise be enlightening.
So yeah. I mean, some of them my favourite ones, and I will always say this as well, is as characters go, a good way that I end up like designing characters is I'll normally take like a particular personality trait of myself that I have and kind of break it down so like that becomes like almost like their it's not like their whole personality, but it's more of the thing that they end up focusing on more than anything else as well. You know, so like if I think, oh yeah, you know, someone's got like some sort of like obsessive compulsion, I then will learn to relate that to whatever that compulsion may be, or stuff like this, and that's kind of like how it ends up working out. Is you know, and essentially, yeah, like this is how I then develop a character. Then you think, okay, well, what would be their motivations, with this being sort of like their main point of their character design, and other sort of questions like that end up arising, and then you basically go, okay, based upon knowing that this is like their main character trait, what would be the outcome of them doing something here, you know? Like, how would they interact with these people? And pretty much every character I come across is designed in this particular way. It's not thinking like, oh yeah, I want to make a really cool character or stuff like that. It's like, how would the characters be, you know, act in these situations? What is the most effective way for them?
Well done.
Oh, no talking.
Got him that time. In the name of Hades.
Make enemies exposed. Death Defiance is restore. I take damage, believe you deflect. Nah, Blinding Flash is pretty good. Especially now. But yeah. I do quite like the characters' designs they end up coming up with, because I just find them more entertaining than normal ones in most cases. And like, I've got good feedback from like playing with people as well in like D&D sessions where I don't know everyone, that my characters seem to be more down to earth and they can relate to them a lot more, or they can, you know, the point comes across of what you're meant to do with them. I think that's like the best thing about characters, is especially in D&D when you're designing them, is the fact that if you're trying to make someone that is meant to be charming and charismatic, it's not about them being charming and charismatic, it's about having that motivation to do what they want, get where they want, but do it in a way that comes across like that. Like, it's about developing them and the motivations clearly so people can understand it. But there's no like rule book to it or anything like that as well. I probably could have taken the fight there, but I want the shop. Because health.
Here's the fee.
Healing. Boon.
He's offering an exchange.
Yeah, sunken treasure.
Let's make some waves. Charon, mate. I don't suppose you've given any further thought to my proposal to just, you know, ferry me up to the surface, seeing as it's not out of your way. I'll take that as a no.
We just need more darkness. I would like to take that fight, but yeah, we're not going to. The good news is these guys can't do much against me with the way this setup is, although I would like a bit more damage. But yeah. And then I know there's no rule book on like making good character design, the character ideas for like D&D and stuff, but I think it comes down to sort of like making them realistic. And I think that's like the basic principle. Like, if you want to try and like create something that's gonna be like engaging as well, and it's going to grab people's attention, make them want to interact with them, make them want to ask questions and stuff like that, and make them interesting. And it's having that simple motivation of the character, plus also, you know, kind of making them understand that in some cases people are just evil for evil's sake. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. The character or villain that we always think in Disney, when someone's just evil because they're evil full stop, is nothing wrong with that. The understanding, though, is the motivation behind that evilness. Sometimes there's got to be that, you know, thing as simple as that, yeah, they are an evil person. They don't have to be redeemed in any way, shape or form or stuff like that. It's just, yeah, they're generally a horrible person and they want to do this thing because it alludes to a particular goal they had in mind at the time. And I think that coming across can be the bit where people think, oh yeah, but no, he's got to be nice, he's got to be friendly and everything else. Like, yeah. You know, if my big bad wants to, you know, burn down an orphanage and then rebuild the orphanage to burn it down again, then they will do that. As to why they got to do that, that's the issue I got to come up against. And there's always the thing as well, like, I do like the rule of cool, and I think the rule of cool is really useful in a way to make sure that you can kind of get away with stuff that may be just on the edge of plausibility or things like that as well, where it's like, yeah, okay, it's kind of cool and it's worth doing, but, you know, it's taking that sort of different approach to cast inflicts chill. Oh, whenever I cast. Oh no, we'll take the freeze.
What lurks
That's
in the
fish.
River Lethe?
So yeah, I've had some interesting ideas in the back of my mind for like other stuff that I was having a look at.
Another car.
And I had like an idea of like setting up some magical weapons, which was interesting. And I think they're going to be something that I would like call at least the idea of it was going to be based around.
Why, here I am, young man, in such strange circumstances, I might add. Luckily, the boatman Charon is much easier to get a hold of than your father.
Yeah.
Let's go, team. Good enough to eat.
Why not? Attacks me with lightning, yeah, just upgrade that then. But yeah, well, I should move into the boss fight and I'll say what I was going to say.
Asterius, other guy.
The gods are testing us once more, Asterius. For how else to explain this fiend approaching us, bearing such blessings as would normally be fit only for heroes such as we?
You do know I'm related to them, right? The god of the dead is my father. I'm sure word's gotten around. Not that I want deferential treatment from the likes of you.
Good, for you'll get nothing of the sort. The gods are on my side, not yours, monster. What business would they have abetting you?
But yeah, like, what was I saying? Yeah, I've been developing like some weapon series, and like they're based around like the tarot cards and stuff like that. And I've got some of them that I think are pretty good. Like my favorite one is like they all have like special abilities attached to them and stuff like that, and there's criteria for obtaining them, and like those are the ideas we're going around with for now. Which kind of makes interesting ones. Like one of the ones I got is like the Judgment one, which basically is just a sword, and the way to obtain it is through basically a test of judgment, which is just a simple duel, one-on-one. So you have to beat them in a fair duel. You can't just like kill them. Normally the sword won't come out of its sheath if you do that, things like that. The person in the duel can't use the sword while they're in a duel challenge, which is a really interesting idea, which I quite like, because it means that the power of the sword doesn't actually influence it, which hence makes the judgment fair. Which again was an idea I quite liked about it as well. But it gives you like the ability to detect lies, and also punish evildoers. And then I was gonna like throw like a whole like place that
Lady Aphrodite, guide my hand.
essentially kind of like respected these blades to a stupid level, but not realizing that some of these blades are just generically evil in like their intent.
Such fervor coming from this crowd.
Because like that was one of the things I wanted to get across. Like these blades, they technically have no affiliation with anything.
You fiend.
You're next.
So the fact that they could do like evil stuff and things like that, and you know, people still revered them and believed that they had like some sort of benefit. You know, almost like worship these blades was kind of a neat idea that I thought I came up with. And like how the blades get passed between the previous owners of them, all the weapons themselves, and all of the swords, because they don't match up with tarot cards either. Extra life, please, because if I use my Death Defiances, it's going to be pretty good. Could sell that, but I'd rather keep it. Anything up here that's worth it? Next spoon, increased rarity. Yes, please.
To the surface. Yes.
But yeah, I did like the idea of them, and then just like having them out in the world, and then like almost like champions, and there was like some sort of other things I wanted to add to like the idea of them, kind of like if two wielders of these weapons came into contact, like the whole thing is like one of them would die type scenario.
Lots on offer here.
Yeah, come on.
Useful.
When you deflect attacks, it deals more damage. Yeah. So there was that aspect of it that I was kind of thinking of in my head as well while doing things. Let's go this route, which I quite like the idea of.
Reloading.
Because it makes it a lot more interesting on the like, you know, these blades are more revered than anything else, and then like the idea is the fact that you can't really own two of them either. Like, you can't own two of the weapons, it just doesn't work. And almost like the Green Lantern rings, if you've ever gone through that, like they will try and like search out an owner in some cases. Another one is the Death one. And essentially, like, there was a few ideas I was messing around with this one, which was kind of interesting. Oh, I'll pause that now. And it was the idea that I think if you took the Green Lantern's Blackest Night one, like, it kind of is the idea there, the kind of like, yeah, that the people that end up using this blade become dead. like it kills the wielder instantly. So like if they lose the blade or they're not like attached to the blade, like it's gone, and it kind of requires them to keep that person alive for them to kill other people, which is kind of then, you know, it's kind of why it's so revered and stuff like that. And the only way to obtain it is to. I quite like the other things. So obviously damage chill. Whenever you have no things, take less damage. And I guess that's good enough because I can always stack it back up if I need to. So yeah, like people would fight over this stuff, and yeah, I don't think we're getting like 450, so we'll just take the upgrade here.
Take it.
Special deal more damage, please.
All these tunnels.
Yeah, let's go get taken the boon.
What's in here?
So I quite like that idea. like, yeah, you could like challenge them to a duel, but you can't kill them, so it's like they just don't care and stuff, and like people then confusing the weapons from like one weapon to the other is always like a common occurrence, where someone thinks they've got one weapon but they don't, they actually have another one, which is always very interesting kind of concept, which I thought was much more interesting for like, because like, you know, like the blades themselves are like, they're not like noticeable in the same way, like, oh yeah, you can definitely recognize it. No, because no one really ever sees one. If they normally do see one, most of the time, like, they're seeing it for a particular reason, which is not a healthy one. You know?
Heads up. What's for sale?
So I did like the idea of using stuff like that, and like creating a story around like the party having to fight one of these wielders, and then like one of them will then obtain the weapon, and depending on like what happens next, it's just like the story writes itself from there, kind of thing. So I did like that idea coming through and kind of following it through to fruition, the campaign, which I've kind of slowly been working on behind the scenes.
Must be the last of them.
But the issue is making the weapon, is balancing the weapons, but also making them kind of like semi-overpowered in those situations where they're meant to be used based upon the thing it's trying to represent. Like that's the cool design that I like about it, and I'm slowly kind of working on that as well. And like my brain just comes up with like the random ideas, think, oh, that sounds cool, but how would that work? And it kind of stems back to like my college days. In my biology lessons,
The gods have spoken.
me and a bunch of friends always had jolting. Yeah, jolting seems pretty good.
Shocking.
We always like talk about like movie monsters and stuff like that, because we all had a fascination with horror films and things like that.
Should check
But
this way.
you know, all us being biology students at the time,
Rearming.
we had this sudden want to explain how these things could exist in reality. And then we look at like all different movies, and we all have our own sort of like viewpoint on which ones should be applicable and which ones they go with. Like, zombies were always more interesting. And like, we've realised that viruses just weren't a thing that could sustain a zombie. So like, if a virus gets off a zombie and it kills it, like the person just ends up dying through malnutrition and stuff like that. There's nothing that kind of is giving the body enough resources to keep it functioning enough where it could move around and stuff like that. And you know, the idea that it's always within the brain and things kind of would make sense. So we had to make up rules of
Oh, good. It's still fresh.
like, okay, well, what thing could do that? And we thought, well, a parasite would be the best solution to solve that problem. And the parasite basically ends up feeding off the human
Countenance of Cerberus
zombie.
agrees. The satyr sac must be destroyed.
Bye for now, boy.
So yeah, we ended up doing that, and like the parasite would then keep like the vital stuff alive enough, but then the rest of the body starts to decompose. You don't need an immune system because the parasite's the thing that's controlling everything, so it keeps the nervous system alive within reason for motor skills. And obviously the muscles end up degrading while you get shambling ones, or while you get the early ones.
Time.
Yeah, like stuff like that. It was really interesting, and like looking at the actual biology and chemistry behind it.
Has been aiding you. You must be so grateful to them for their aid, without which none of this would have been possible.
Yeah, about that. Father, did you let Mother go because you feared Olympus would find out, and not respond well to the circumstances if they did?
grateful they have not found out as yet for all your meddling. You do not know them as well as you think. Ask yourself why she left Olympus and how. Or better yet, ask her.
Well, she seems quite lovely, so knowing you, you probably tricked her into signing a pact to come join you or something. Since you weren't allowed on Olympus, why not have Olympus come to you?
Ha! Surprisingly not distant from the truth. I took her, boy. I took her down with me. Is that what you wish to hear? Does that anger you? Come, bring forth that anger then.
He can never be honest.
Darkness.
Hades is a real true tsundere. We all know this.
Now.
The issue I have is trying to trying to hit him. I can hit him and it'll do a lot of damage, but actually trying to hit him is the issue.
Darkness.
Hopefully we do one-shot those, though. Really? The shield guy? Of course you summon the shield guy. Of course. Like, why would you not summon the shield guy? But yeah, it's stuff that I enjoyed doing, especially when we were at uni and college and stuff, was
For a moment.
like, you know, we were all a bunch of nerds, and this is the stuff we ended up wanting to figure out. Was like, oh yeah, you know, a horror movie zombie, like how does that exist within reality? You know, werewolves, how do they exist? Vampires, stuff like that, and even like the more obscure stuff like The Thing and, you know, Swamp Thing and stuff like that. Like how do these things come about? What's the excuse for them existing?
Darkness.
Where are you?
And of course then, like, is there any sort of, like, unique biology that basically has this kind of cause and effect attached to it? You know, is there stuff within our current biology that would explain how these things came about?
Darkness.
We're getting low, but, like, I got, like, 2 death defiances, so it's not that bad.
Darkness.
Ah, there we go, that's 1 down.
Oh, back.
I get good healing.
You're bleeding, boy. Darkness. Boy.
But yeah, I kind of enjoyed that stuff. Still do to this day, like, even just fantasizing on the idea of, like, you know, how would this kind of, like, develop is really interesting. Like, how does it evolve? How is it something that kind of ends up existing? Oop. Because most of the time, like, stuff like that is, like, it's more interesting than the sort of standard stuff you normally would get.
I can't.
Again, it's also how you kind of create really good movie monster type stuff, right? Man, that really got me from there. To hit myself again. So yeah, I kind of find that stuff really interesting. And I kind of wish like I could do more of it and stuff, you know.
Don't do that. I see. Not yet.
But you know, I'd have to find a bunch of friends that kind of we all got the same like thought process again, and although we do D&D stuff, and I can create like really cool monsters and stuff like that. That's kind of where I end up most of the energy into things like those as well.
Let's see you run from this.
But there we go. I was nice and relaxed during that one. That was great fun.
Then go. See what awaits you in this realm. Ungrateful.
Hades, meant to be the king of hell, but he's actually just the king of Sundare's.
I did it.
There we go. The Heat 1 done. How delightful. I am loving the fact that we're actually getting like good consistent wins now.
I'm here.
My son.
Mother?
I could not stand it on Olympus, Zagreus. The blustering, the posturing, my overbearing mother. None of it. I would have left the mountain voluntarily, except
Father absconded with you, didn't he? Dragged you down with him into the underworld. So if Olympus were to find that out, I shudder to think of the consequences.
that fool is trying to protect me even now. It wasn't he who absconded with me, my son. And it's more complicated even than that. I was content to leave, willing to make my life within the underworld, with your father.
I dare not ask who did bring you to Father then. So essentially you ran away from home to live with him. I mean no disrespect, but did you realize what you were getting yourself into?
I love that. Love that sentence.
We have a tendency to be impetuous when we are younger, Zagreus. I heard all about your father before we met. Admired paintings of him. It was very awkward at first, but he had a bluntness I fancied. A sense of principle. I much preferred him to his brothers, I can tell you that.
So, then you secretly left Mount Olympus to be with the god of the dead in the underworld, and Olympus never found out. What do you suppose would happen if they did?
I think there would be war between Olympus and your father, Zagreus, if they found out. Especially now, after all this. And after all this time. They slew their parents once. If the Titans could be wiped from this world, so can we all.
So it makes sense. If Father, he agrees with you and thinks that leaving you in hiding here, that it's the only way he can prevent that war.
I can see how your father, shrewd but also single-minded as he was, might have followed such a line of reasoning as that. Oh, Zagreus, what have I done?
No, what have I done? I can't.
It all comes out now.
I need to fix this.
Just keeping watch over the pool of sticks there, same as always.
Get some rest, mate.
Oh, how could he? So, you had a run-in with the Minotaur out in Elysium, did you? Perhaps the only soul within this realm more bull-headed than you.
Ooh, burn.
How long have you been waiting to use that line, Father? Wouldn't put it past you to have sent the Bull of Minos to Elysium entirely so we could have this conversation now.
You give me too much credit, boy. The Minotaur resides where he resides because of an entirely different arrangement.
He's working for you, isn't he? You think he can stop me?
Most in Elysium jump at the opportunity to do my bidding. Not that you know what that is like. Now go, see how you fare against the bull.
What news of late about Eurydice, my friend? She is as delicate as I described, no doubt. Ah, but I am dwelling on her once again, it seems.
I knew she was a talented musician, mate, but you never let on that she is an amazing chef as well. She's been hospitable to me each time we've met, though you still seem to be a bit of a sore subject.
How very understandable indeed. Were I to have been failed to be rescued from the depths of hell, mere moments from escape, I too would be quite cross with my attempted rescuer. And for quite some time.
I'm working on it, mate.
Wait. Child, quickly now, before you go. I know how all of this must look. Know that I was true to her, Persephone, and that I think fondly on the time she spent with us.
Of course, Nyx. Though, why did she really leave the underworld, do you think? Besides, because of me. So what if she thought I died at birth?
She did not feel that she belonged. It was a very difficult adjustment she was forced to make. And she feared that she would inevitably end up caught between Olympus and this realm. That she might start a war.
A war? Wars have been fought for less, I understand. And father must have been a real burden, too.
You do not know. Ask her yourself about her time with him. But I have already said too much, and I cannot say more.
You've said more than enough. I'll see you next.
Haven't
Should
said
visit
too
the head
much.
chef. You and your sisters really don't get along well, do you?
Alecto and Tisiphone and I each have a different outlook, I would say. We've learned mostly to stay out of one another's way.
That doesn't sound like a healthy basis for a relationship between siblings.
Aren't you lecturing me about healthy relationships with families, Zagreus? Your family, your father's family, is the most broken and corrupted in the history of the entire concept.
Fair point. I didn't mean to sound like I had any meaningful advice there, Meg. We're stuck with our bloodlines and our relatives, aren't we?
Your family cut their Titan parents into pieces and then scattered them in Tartarus. Remember that when next you tell me about family.
Sore subject. Nah, I don't want to sacrifice that, but I could just get more nectar with the keys, because I don't need... Do I need more keys? I might save the keys, actually. We might need more keys.
Cleaning the rafters.
We might need
Use
more
them wisely,
keys.
my friend.
I just double check there's no one else to talk to in here. Much disappointment.
Don't think I'm welcome in there.
Stay out of there.
But there we go. Use some of the darkness.
Phew, felt that.
Upgrade everything.
Hey,
Any luck last time?
And there we go. Another win for the Bucks.
the chambers of Tartarus have probably all rearranged themselves by now.
But yeah, I enjoyed this run. It was quite good, especially the fact that we just made like one big mortar coming in. But yeah, again, if you do enjoy the video, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.